Jai Gurudev. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudirayet. Jai Gurudev. Yeah, today, although we did not take up any verse, didn't progress beyond where we stopped yesterday, there was a lot of clarification. And I think, Persiji, your question was very well dealt upon extensively. And my understanding is, instead of doing it for a particular thing, for Kamya Karma, you do it for Loka Kalyanartham, which is fine. That is great. That is, you're taking the whole, the welfare of the whole mankind into your Sankalpa, which is great. But holding on and doing things out of selfishness does not give you any, greater leverage compared to a person who is adharmic. Because the intention is that of selfishness.
And one more thing I'd like to add here is that the future of the students, if you see, I've seen at least 2 cases in my time of going into depression. They've been into IIT, IIM and all that push there. But after that, there is a mental breakdown for them. And both these cases are not able to do anything now. They're sitting at home after having studied so much. So what is the use of parents pushing people into this with whatever means? And then finally, there is a mental breakdown for the child because it's been pushed too hard.
That is why living the life of a karma yogi, for a karma yogi, he would do his best and he would leave the result to the divine, and whatever result he gets, he takes it. And he's a Nishkama Karma Yogi. And Nishkama is included in the Karma Yogi aspect. So there's no Kamya Karma there. He starts off doing something with an expectation of the result, which is there for everybody. But whatever result comes, like a Karma Yogi parent, for instance, whether his son's got into his IIT, passed through the entrance and got a seat or not, if he gets a seat, he will accept it. If he does not get a seat, also he's fine. He will look at other alternatives. Where else can his son join? So, living a life of Karma Yogi, you're in sync with your karma, with the phala that you are destined to have. You're not going against the karma. You're not going against the flow.
Yeah, this question came up because somebody in our group had said, for family, and then we have this affection towards the family. So for our children, we do Homa so that they get good marks. So then my thought process started like this. Are you not depriving somebody else of a seat if he's not up to the mark? And if he's up to the mark, then why the Homa? He'll get it on his own merits. And then if he's not up to the mark, then I have seen these 2 cases going into depression. What was, of course, like he was a ranker actually when he went through IIT and IIM. But his mother was a school teacher, and during school time, he would not be allowed to even go outside and play football. So that he should not come second, he should come first only in school. not even second. So all the time on study. And finally, because of that, he broke down. When she came to me with him here, I treat depression cases. I've done counseling also. So I take one to one. I don't promote it. People just come to know and then I treat them. So when she spoke, she said the father pushed. But when I sat behind him and asked him to narrate his life story and go through the entire past, just quiet and listen. In counseling, we just listen. And I went on listening, and then we asked pertinent questions when they stopped at appropriate times. Then he said his mother had pushed him, and he mentioned about the football and how he was not allowed to indulge in any other. So it was just one side of the brain being used and heated up, and then finally break down. The other side was not used at all. No games allowed. So what parents do with their children also, like such a beautiful kid, and I was surprised when he finally did Sarvangasana with me, like was complete couch potato and how he responded first with meditation and then to the when I took him to the asanas. He came out so beautifully. My this thing is take is that accept all the children in the world as yours. Like then there is no this thing about my child only.
Correct.
Everybody is mine.
Correct.
Nana raised a very pertinent this thing also, like maybe even if he went into IIT, then he take to drugs or alcohol or something like that. Nana mentioned today, and that could have also happened because of stress. Then they finally get into it if they are not up to the mark. Even due
Yeah.
to political route or you are powerful, so you get a seat, but then they may fall into bad habits. They will.
Anyone wants to share anything else? I will just open the
Hariom, just a small clarification of my own little understanding, Brahmaraji. So, para is our Chetana, right?
um, that is what I was not, my question was not in what Nana explained. My question was the terminology that is used was a little conflicting in the sense um, apara prakriti is supposedly what is visible, and para prakriti. I think I have to go and revisit chapter 7 before I take this question forward. I may have to do I will have to do a little study there because I don't want to confuse everyone. And then, but here in this one, um, normally we say parokshanubhuti, aparokshanubhuti. Paroksha there in that context is something that is visible. That is no, not visible. Um, the the world that we see is the paroksha. Aparokshanubhuti is self-realization. So there I had that little thing why it was kind of used uh, paradoxically. It was like in conflict, but I think I will go back and revisit chapter 7.
Yeah, my understanding is clear as Nanaji has explained very well. Till yesterday, I had opera is Prakriti, Maya. Kshetra, when you take a body, I mean the all the nature and all the gunas and everything, whatever is acquired in a
Correct.
human being, that is apara. And para is that Chetana Shakti, because in earlier chapter also Bhagwan said while telling Arjun wherever he is, so he is that Chetana Shakti, that the very understanding. I think that will be the Gnya.
Correct.
Yeah, Jnanam part. Okay, no problem. Even I will try to understand it with
Yeah,
my.
yeah.
Yeah. We will take another.
We've come to chapter shloka number six, I think. No, in this one, so let me just share this one. We stopped here yesterday. Are you all able to see, no? Therefore, by those who have this identification with the body, it is difficult to accomplish. Dehavadbihi dukkham avapyate. With a karma yoga buddhi, the mind is prepared for the recognition. Once pratyagatma is at least recognized by one who is a devotee, the recognition of the Swarupa of Atma can follow. Introducing the next verse, Shankara says that later in this chapter, the behavior of the wise who know Akshara Brahma is going to be described. Now we turn our attention to the karma yogis who meditate. Etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam. Yesterday we read the meanings of these two. I'll just read the Tatparya. These two verses Swamiji said have to be taken together. However, those meditators, being the ones for whom I am the ultimate end, giving up all actions unto me, with a commitment in which there is indeed no other, meditating upon me, worship me. For those whose minds are absorbed in me, Arjuna, before long, I become the liberator from the ocean of samsara fraught with death. Whenever we present two verses together, it is because both are required to complete the idea. As the third and fourth verses are read together, so are the sixth and the seventh. Tu, whereas, is to distinguish the karma yogis from the Akshara Brahma upasakas. E matparaha, Shankara explains, as those for whom I am the ultimate goal. Ishvara, the Lord, is everything for them, like the master is for the servant. By fulfilling the Lord's mandates, they express their commitment to Him. Sarvani karmani mai sanyasya. Consigning all karmas to me, Parameshwara, they meditate upon me. There are two types of activities, religious and secular. Religious activities can be rituals or prayers that are enjoined by the Shruti, called Shrauta Karmas, or by Smriti, called Smarta Karmas. Then there are secular activities, Laukika Karmas, daily duties, which imply activities dealing with the world. When all these karmas are done, giving them up to Ishvara, Mai Sanyasya, Laukika activities cease to be Laukika. Because he says, Mai, in me. Sanyasya does not mean true renunciation of karmas by knowledge, but doing them with Ishvararpana Buddhi for the sake of Ishvara. How do you dedicate action to Bhagwan? As we saw before, It is acting in accordance with dharma and adharma, right and wrong, not in accordance with raga and dvesha. As human beings, we are endowed with the faculty of choice. We can choose to act or not to act in keeping with the commonly accepted norms. Those norms are not created by a human being, they are part of the creation. Therefore, conforming to them is seeing oneself as not separate from Ishvara. Dharma, like other natural laws, is not a visible mandate from Ishvara. For example, we do not see the law of gravitation, only its manifestation in a falling object. Similarly, we do not see dharma, but it is manifest in our natural urges, like not wanting to be hurt. From that, we understand that non injury is dharma. This is why it is said that conscience is God. Conscience is nothing but dharma, and adharma manifest as our own common sense appreciation of right and wrong. Conformity to that as Ishvara is worship. This has to be said because we also have likes and dislikes, which need not conform to our sense of dharma. When they are made subordinate to dharma and adharma, one becomes a karma yogi. So much of clarity in the way Swamiji is explaining what Ishwararpana Buddhi is, no?
Yes, very well.
So very simple. You just have to live a dharmic life. Live a life accordance to what is right and wrong, and not according to your raga and dvesha. And this previous paragraph has some very beautiful things. The difference, the classification of karmas is religious and secular, laukika and shrauta or smarta karmas. So we offer everything to love for the sake of Ishvara. Mai sanyasya. So what that means, Ishwararpana buddhi. So therefore, whether you're doing a religious activity or you are doing, say, a laukika karma, some of your daily activities, daily chores, doing it in accordance with dharma, along with the natural laws, in sync with that. Earlier, Bhagwan said, Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Death in one's own dharma is better. The dharma of another is fraught with fear. And tayoho vasam na agachet. Na agachet. Do not come under their ragadvesha spell. All these words reveal exactly what is being said here. But then here, no, when we talk of dharma, others' dharma is fraught with fear. Isn't dharma the same for everybody? But yeah, there is a difference. There is a difference here.
I think Swamiji is clarifying here the difference between Nirguna Upasaka and Saguna Upasaka.
I think he's mentioning the Swadharma. Each one will have his own Swadharma, right?
Mm. See, dharma of another is fraught with fear. I'm just giving the example of myself. supposing, well, I'm a doctor, so my duty is to go to the hospital and take care of my patients. If at that point I look at my, say, another one of my friends who is uh, who is maybe a homemaker, and I think, oh, you know what, I want to do that. So if I come under that, then I will be not doing my swadharma. Of course, we went through the swadharma whole thing in chapter 2, but uh, yeah, I just wanted that clarity over there. So that way, that paradharma is bhayavaha. This can also mean swadharme nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. The swadharma is you doing things in alignment with the dharma, number one. The paradharma maybe can be also understood as what, as you following your raga dvesha, isn't it? Not necessarily some other person's thing. Paradharma does not necessarily mean um, another person outside of you. It could be your own actions which are governed by raga dveshas. That becomes paradharma. We'll get this clarification again.
I think
Yeah.
Swadharma, you get to know your Swadharma if you follow your Prakriti. According to your Prakriti, your Swadharma will be destined. It may not be the profession which you have chosen, which you may not be liking. Following that may not be your Swadharma. Either if you have taken it with your liking, if you have chosen your profession, if you're liking doing that, then that can be your Swadharma. Otherwise, it may not be. So, according to your Prakriti, also, the Swadharma is decided, I believe. Prakriti, Vasana, all of that.
Jai Gurudev. But Nanaji told today, like, and I also believe, like, what when you are born, you are destined to be to gain that profession or that position. So whatever we are doing, that is already predestined. So
Yeah.
that is our swadharma. So if some profession is assigned to us, we would be doing that, and if we go by a raga and dvesha and enter in another field just because we like doing painting, running, anything, and if we go in that, that is, I think, that is paradharma, according to what I understood.
Yeah. That's what even I understand. Because you're, like, for instance, I'm already a doctor. I cannot say because I don't like this, I am not going, it's not my swadharma, isn't it? Then it will become you're following your raga dveshas. For whatever reason.
This is where,
Yeah.
sorry, this is where Swami Suryapada ji said in his Bhagavad Gita class, no? He said that you understand your Swadharma as the role and position you are in right now. That is your Swadharma, both in your profession and in your personal life. Wherever you are situated right now, that is your Swadharma.
But then how are we going to say about the kid who he says he has been pushed by his mother into that profession? Can he just not be happy with that, saying that this is my Swadharma and all? We are having so much of compassion for him. But we don't know the story about on the other side, because I have seen many a times kids, they use parents as a skipboard, like they would like to blame for their failures, to handle their mind, for their addictions. They are, parents are the soft corners, and they would blame their parents. Of course, I'm getting little diverted over here. But then what about that kid now? What was his Swadharma? Was he not supposed to follow what he was put into? And where the free will comes in over here? We have chosen, or we have been pushed into. Isn't it little complicated?
So experience shows that if you have been pushed into which is not your Swadharma, you will not be able to do anything in that field. And that is the experience of almost everybody who has been pushed into a field which is not their Swadharma. Pushed in or even by choice.
Because that time we may not have the clarity that I really want to do this. Maybe later on I feel that, yeah, this is not what I want to do. I want to do something else. It's not raga dvesha. It is your skill. You are good into it, or you are the best into it. You know you are best like aptitude in this world. We can say I have aptitude into this, and if you have a chance to change it, why not? It's not just
Guruji has said
it's
that.
not
Guruji has said,
raga dvesha.
yes, Guruji has spoken about this. He said that at the age of 60, you cannot say, oh, I should have been a doctor, but I went into medicine, engineering, or vice versa. Oh, I should have been an engineer, but now I was pushed into doctor, not at the age of 60. Now at 60, you cannot change. Change could have been done earlier, and that is when it should have been.
Yeah, that's right. Now here the what I was saying, like if Brahmaraji was saying doctor versus did she say housewife or something?
Yeah.
I just missed. Yeah, housewife. So isn't that easy switch off for her? It could be her choice, right? When she knows she is better into these things, she might do something wonders over there. Why can't anyone change? I mean, not everyone will be able to change, but you get that feeling. It's not raga dvesha. I think everybody at this age or this stage would be knowing that seva bhav is my swadharma, or protecting people is my swadharma. It's not, I'm not talking about the profession part, but uh, much deeper than that. It's not the profession I'm talking, but someone who wants to teach, they could go into teaching. It's not the profession I'm talking here.
Yeah, I think
Then you must do it.
And it's a big question whether it is raga dvesha, or people might get confused. Is it raga dvesha, or is it coming out of your tamas, that you don't want to do anything and just be at home?
That only you will know.
Yes.
And that is where your nididhyasana comes, and you will know.
Correct.
All
Correct.
that manana, through all that, you will know, oh, I'm just doing because I'm lazy. Or
That's right. That's
the
right.
other way. No, this is not
That's
raga,
right.
this is desha or whatever.
Correct.
That only you will know.
Only comes with the maturity.
that is why it is said, kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatha va kartum shakyam, right? So you can do, you don't do, need not do, or do it differently. So for me, my swadharma right now is being a doctor, and I will continue to be a doctor till a time where I think that maybe I cannot continue doing a full-time job. Maybe I will just slip to a part-time job and then take up some other the passion that I am fond of, like doing some seva and all that. Probably that will happen then. So I think some things we should just
Your
leave.
profession itself is a seva.
Right. It
Medicine,
is
teaching, nursing, these are all seva only.
correct. It is seva only. Agree. But on the spiritual path, what I meant was, on the spiritual path, what I'm doing as seva is on the at the bodily, maybe little bit of the mind level. But in the spiritual path, to further my spiritual progress, if there is a need, maybe at a later time, that in time will unfold it. As we keep walking, it'll becomes clearer maybe. So I think we'll park this Svadharma here, otherwise it will become a nice maybe take up. We've done a lot of discussion on Swadharma, but it is I think we'll stop it for now. All these words reveal exactly what is being said here. Lord is their goal. So we're talking about the karma yogis. Why is it worship? The Sagunopasakas, right? Why is because they are matparaha. Their commitment is to Ishvara, nothing else. He is the ultimate end, not the last end, but the end. This is conflicting. He is the ultimate end, not the last end, but the end. Isn't the last end the same as ultimate end? We'll keep it. These people want moksha for the sake of moksha and have ascertained that Ishvara is moksha swarupa. They know that they have to gain knowledge of Ishvara. That is their ultimate as well as their immediate end. If it is not the only end, he will become a sannyasi. That is why Swamiji mentioned that. If it is the only end, he will become a sannyasi. If he realizes he has to prepare himself for that end by gaining antakarana shuddhi, he will become a karma yogi. To neutralize raga dvesha, he lives a life of karma yoga. But the end and the pursuit of knowledge with that end in view are common to both. Should I read this paragraph again?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm just going to read this part. So conformity, I'm just going one paragraph before. Conformity to that Ishvara is worship. This has to be said because we also have likes and dislikes, which need not conform to our sense of dharma. When they are made subordinate to dharma and adharma, one becomes a karma yogi. Even Bhagavan said, Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. Death in one's own dharma is better. The dharma of another is fraught with fear, and tayoho vasam na agachet. Do not come under their ragadvesha spell. All these words reveal exactly what is being said here. Lord is their goal. Why is it worship? Because they are matparaha. Matparaha. Their commitment is to Ishvara, nothing else. He is the ultimate end, not the last end, but the end. These people want moksha for the sake of moksha and have ascertained that Ishvara is moksha swarupa. They know that they have to gain knowledge of Ishvara, that is their ultimate as well as their immediate end. If it is the only end, he will become a sannyasi. If he realizes he has to prepare himself for that end by gaining antakarana shuddhi, he will become a karma yogi. To neutralize raga and dvesha, he lives a life of karma yoga. but the end and the pursuit of knowledge with that end in view are common to both. It was said earlier, yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atmashuddhaye. The karma yogis perform action, giving up attachment to results for the purification of the mind. From this, it is clear how important it is to have determined what one is seeking, purushartha nishchaya. Everything that was said earlier about the fundamental problem continues to be relevant throughout these pages. Taking it back to the fundamental problem that Swamiji spoke of in the Gita introduction, the fundamental problem was that we feel that we are not enough, we are not secure. That is the problem. But we are also the solution. In the 13th chapter, when the values leading to this knowledge are told, the last value, Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam, is also the first value. Everything is done keeping the end result, moksha, in view. Otherwise, this gets postponed because there are always things that require immediate attention. It is endless. Unless we really know what we want, moksha will wait while we attend to hundreds of different things. Thus, we focus our attention on our pursuit, the ultimate end. Those who have ascertained this are matparaha. Their ultimate end is Ishvara, and everything becomes an aid, sahakari, to that. If someone is cooking, you may find him filling a vessel with water, cutting vegetables, clearing the counter, and so on. None of these actions is cooking, which consists of putting something on the fire. Still, they are all included in the act of cooking because they are connected to the main action. Similarly, if the main end is decided, anything you do in your life is connected to that. Now it becomes clear.
Wow, it is so simple and so well.
Yeah. It is not unlike the life of a scientist. Once he is gripped with a problem, his mind is committed to that. He also eats, showers, and does varieties of things, but the topic of his research is always in his mind. He does not turn his attention to it at one particular time. It is always there. Once you are committed to the pursuit of something, everything else gets connected to that. Here, all the activities of those who are matparaha become connected to moksha. In doing karma, they do not act according to raga dvesha, but in conformity with dharma adharma, recognizing Ishvara as the law of karma. Whatever their activity may be, they never lose sight of their goal, moksha. That is why when we have a little doubt, we just have to continue reading and not try and break our heads over it. So initially it seemed like there was a little it was not clear, but as we read through, it was very clear that the karma yogi, who is the end is the same for both the sannyasi as well as the karma yogi. Moksha is the end. Whereas the karma yogi lives a life of karma yoga to develop, to prepare his mind to do that antakarna shuddhi. Just like that very beautiful, simple example of cooking. The end is to cook, but you're washing vegetables, you're cutting them. It does not mean you are not, um, you're not doing the ultimate thing, which is cooking. All these are required for you to get there. For a sannyasi, everything is already pre-packed. All he has to do is just cook. Whereas for a karma yogi, he has to prepare everything himself. He has to do that antakarna shuddhi. So those that are matparaha, their ultimate end is Ishvara. And everything becomes an aid, sahakari to that. They meditate upon me and worship me. Mam dhyayantaha upasate. The meditators meditate upon me. The Lord who is the cause of everything and who is in the form of this entire world. Besides doing karma with Ishwararpana Buddhi, they are meditating upon Saguna Brahma. How? With a commitment in which there is no other. Ananyena Yogena, meaning nothing other than Parameshwara. Other than the Vishwarupa, there is no other resting place, Alambana, for the mind. Because of their love for the Swarupa, they are able to do Karma Yoga. Their daily prayer, etc., are also for effective dhyana. Since they are Karma Yogis, naturally Ishvara is in their mind. In their meditation, there is nothing other than Parameshwara. The vritti will keep on changing as thoughts do, but the Lord will be there in all of them. Even if he is invoked in a particular form, that too is Ishvara. For those who meditate in this form, dedicating all their karmas to me, committed to me alone as the end, there is nothing other than Lord. The Lord is their deliverer. For such people, the Lord says, I become their deliverer. Tesham aham samuddharta bhavami. What are they delivered from? From the ocean of samsara, which is fraught with death. Mrityu samsara sagara. This is a compound in which the middle word yukta is missing and is called a madhyama pada lopa samasa. The complete compound is mrityu yukta samsara sagara. From that ocean of samsara, fraught with death, Lord Krishna says, I am their savior. He is the one who is able to pull them out of this ocean by his grace. There are devotees after all. They are devotees after all. And through their prayerful life, they gain antahkarana shuddhi, a visible result, drishta phala. Besides that, there is punya, the adrishta phala, which will provide them with every opportunity to be exposed to the Upadesha teaching. They earn their grace, which provides them with everything necessary to know that Bhagavan's Atma is their own Atma. Thus, the equation Tat Tvam Asi becomes clear. Their meditation is upon Ishvara and all actions are dedicated to Ishvara, as we saw. For those who are living such a committed life, the Lord is Samuddharta, the one who delivers. When Krishna uses aham in the Gita, it is as Ishvara, not the historical Krishna, son of Devaki. When he existed or not historically does not matter. Whether he existed or not historically does not matter. We need only understand what he teaches here, which is that every form is Ishvara's form. When the Lord says he is the savior, whom does he save and from what? These jivas who are devotees are saved by Ishvara from the ocean of samsara, which is fraught with death. Samsara is a life of continuous becoming, a time-bound life. Why is it likened to an ocean? Shankara says, because it is difficult to cross. An ocean is vast and treacherous. So is samsara. To get out of it, therefore, is not easy. Unless ajnana, ignorance, is removed, there is no possibility of crossing samsara. Though the elimination of ignorance cannot be accomplished by any attempt, an essential thing in its removal is preparedness, which does require effort. Whether you want to remove ignorance of electronics or calculus, you have to reach a point from where you can understand the subject being taught. For that, you require proper effort and perseverance. There is no difficulty in gaining knowledge other than becoming prepared. That preparedness is given by Bhagavan. How? As a result of this upasana, Ishvara will provide him with the capacity to apply his mind, and for his karma, he will gain antahkarana shuddhi. Both are required, and each enhances the other. The act of meditation produces a certain tranquility with which one can better appreciate the laws of karma. That appreciation brings about further composure and changes in attitude, which manifest as mature behavior and disposition. A mere technique cannot do this. It can only give you application. Even a criminal can be very single minded. When he shoots someone, his concentration is excellent. That means he has application. Ravana has had an enormous application, but no karma yoga, the thing that makes one mature. Mere capacity for application or tranquility is not enough. Even someone who is incapable of thinking can be very tranquil. For this knowledge to work, one requires the composure that accompanies maturity. That implies a lot of neutralization of raga, dvesha, likes and dislikes. For those who live a life of karma yoga and also meditate upon Ishvara, there is an immediate result. Doing what is to be done, even the unpleasant, they enjoy freedom from conflict. Before doing what is unpleasant, there will be conflict because raga dvesha can be contrary to what is to be done. Being karma yogis, they dismiss the raga dvesha and follow dharma as Ishvara Swarupa. Thereby, they are free from further conflict. But when you act according to raga dvesha, there is conflict before, after, and during the action. There is drishtaphala for both conformity and non-conformity with dharma. The drishtaphala of meditation is a certain composure and capacity to apply the mind. Because it is a prayer, which is a karma, there is also an adrishtaphala, which is what we call Ishvara's grace. That is what brings about situations conducive for gaining this knowledge. How long will it take? Krishna says, Nachirat, not after a long time. It all depends upon the person. There is no fixed timetable in this because you are already liberated. If something is to be produced, a timetable can be given. If you're already free, it is a question of maturing and knowing. The word Nachirat, though it is not specific, says that it will not take long. When a person has karma yoga and upasana, what will stop him from knowing? Who are they again? Those whose minds are absorbed in me, Parameshwara. These are people who are committed only to Parameshwara. Their minds get absorbed in Parameshwara, not only in meditation, but also in daily activities. Thus, for them, I become the rescuer. To be rescued means to be free, mukta. Does it mean there is another way of becoming free? I will just continue if everyone is okay with this. Just for another 7 minutes, okay? We'll stop.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because it's going in a flow. I just want to, yeah, I think it's going for some time, but we'll see. Till 7 we'll do. So, is there another way of becoming free? Throughout the Gita, it has been said that freedom is by knowledge. Jnanat moksha. Here it seems that by karma yoga and upasana, there is moksha. That would mean there are two different paths: knowledge, jnanat moksha, and karma, karmanaha moksha. Because upasana is also a karma, a mental karma, manasam karma. This is where people commit mistakes. Whether it is mental, oral, or physical, action is action, and any karma implies an agent, karta. This karta cannot be negated without jnana, and without the negation of the karma, there is no freedom. It is the sense of agency that is the cause of all problems. Who has Ishwararpana Buddhi? It is the karta. When they say surrender to God, who is to surrender? And what can you surrender when everything belongs to Him? You can only give what you consider to be yours. Even if you appreciate that what you have has been given by Bhagavan, who says this? At this level of karma yoga, the maximum you can give up is the sense of mine, mamata. But ahankara, the I notion, will remain. How will the conclusion, I am a samsari, go unless the ahankara goes? Ahankara is one thing you cannot surrender because it is the surrenderer. When someone says, surrender your ego, who is addressed? Is it Satchit Ananda Atma or Ahankara? Satchit Ananda Atma has no ego, nor can it be addressed because it is not an object. Ahankara is the ego. How can it surrender itself? That is why it does not work. People have been trying to surrender for ages. The Ahankara cannot surrender. You can do anything, but as long as there is ignorance and you look upon Ishvara as someone separate from you, there is no surrender. It is fine to have devotion. Lord Krishna himself says the karma yogis who are worshipping him are yoga vittamaha. No doubt they are mature, but still ahankara remains. Therefore, moksha is possible only by knowledge. Jnanat eva, not by karma or anything else. You are already non-separate from Ishvara, and recognition of that fact is freedom, moksha. If that is not moksha, there is no moksha, because if you are not limitless right now, there is no possibility of becoming limitless. There is a Tamil proverb that says that if your thumb develops a whitlow, it will not swell to the size of a pumpkin. It can swell to the size of a lemon, perhaps. Similarly, let the ahankara amass any amount of grace or experience, any kind of beatitude. It is going to be only the ahankara's beatitude, not ananda, limitlessness. If I am bound by nature, isolated from everything, I am bound forever. However, isolation is really not possible if you think about it. Anything that is physical belongs to the physical world, and anything subtle to the subtle world. How can you extract one physical body from the physical world while remaining in the physical world and say that it is separate from the physical world? It is something like a branch of a tree saying it is independent of a tree. No physical object can claim independence from the physical world. What is physical belongs to the physical world. Isolation is not possible at any level. All you have to do is understand that there is only one thing and you are that one thing. It is already accomplished. To be free, you have only to shed ignorance and know jnanat eva moksha. Yeah, I think we'll stop here. Maybe we can just give our input before we close. There's quite a lot of explanation about how a karma yoga who is also doing moksha upasana has been given. So it seems like there are two ways of becoming free, but in fact there is only one. Although we're doing karma, as long as we're doing karma, there is that kartritva bhav, that karta is there. So that I, the ahankara, as long as that is there, there is no true surrender happening. It is only when this ahankara is also dropped, and that happens only with jnana. That recognition that you are the one, that dvaita becoming advaita, that happens only with jnana. So I like this proverb, this Tamil proverb, which says your thumb develops a whitlow, it can only swell to the size of a lemon, perhaps not the size of a pumpkin. Similarly, let the ahankara amass any amount of grace or experience. It is going to be only the ahankara's beatitude, not limitless. It's a little deep what Swamiji is trying to explain. Maybe we'll have to revisit it once again tomorrow. For now, we'll stop here. Does anyone want to share anything before we close? Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Guru.